Hello boys and girls, this is Mrs. Wagner. This is week 7 of our videos and of school. We're going to talk this week about warm and cool colors, but first we're going to work on doing a rubbing. This is a beautiful time of the year to do rubbings because there are so many leaves out there. I've chosen a hydrangea because I have a couple of bushes that are smaller and they have really, really nice deep veining. I also have a couple of trees out front. These are a type of maple, so I like the veining on this also. And I have another plant, I think it's a bee balm, but it attracts bees. It has a nice smell. So I'm gonna use these leaves. I have a smaller one of the tree and a smaller hydrangea. So I will be using these to create my rubbings. We are going to fill the page with rubbings, and then we are going to color inside the leaves and the background different cool and warm colors. You need to think about where you want to place your leaves. I'm probably going to start in the middle with my maple leaf. I took a dark crayon. I didn't have black, so I just took a brown and I peeled it and I broke it in half because I think if it was too long, it would make a lot more marks on the page. I want this to be not too big so that I don't get too many extra marks besides what I want to rub. So I'm gonna start rubbing. If you can't remember where you put your leaf, peek underneath your paper and look. Go up against the center of that center stem. That'll help you get better veining showing when you're rubbing, because that main vein kind of sticks up a lot. So there's one. I really like this one, so I'm going to probably do another rubbing, but I have one going this way. I might turn it, so I'm going to turn my leaf and slide it under. I might even have a little bit of the leaf sticking out of the page because it's not necessary to have all of it, and sometimes that makes it the picture look interesting when things are going off the page. We've talked about that in class before. So here's my rubbing. I kind of press lightly at the beginning till I can see where everything is. And there's my main stem. Then I can press a little bit harder once I know where my leaf is, so I can get a little bit darker lines. But I do it gently at first. So there's another one. I'm probably gonna do a third. I like to do things in 3s and 5s. See, I have this one going this way, this one going this way, so I might make this leaf, I'll rub this one going this way. Getting most of it in there. I'm probably not going to overlap. I don't want to have them overlap and make it confusing. So I'm pressing lightly again to see where the edges of my leaf are. Let me see if I can move this into the frame a little better. Find the edges on this side. And then once I find my edges, then I start to press a little bit harder so the veins show up a little bit darker. Okay, take that one out. I think now I'm going to work with the hydrangea. That's the one that's kind of roundish, but the veining is really pretty. I'm going to put that right in here, so I'm going to slide it under. It's kind of a bumpy one, so I better press carefully. It kind of wants to stick up a lot. It's not quite as flat as my tree leaf. Very lightly at first, just to see the edges, just to get my edges. Then once I have my edges, then I can push a little bit harder to get the veining a little darker. For some reason, I'm not getting a lot of veining, but this stem of the hydrangea is really, really very deep. It's a very thick one. All right, I'm gonna put this one maybe here. I'm going to go sideways like that because this one's going that way, this one's going down. I want a little interest, make it different. Very gently at first, just to get my edges, know where my leaf is. Then I press a little harder so I can get the veining. Now we're gonna add color to these, so we don't wanna just make them all black or brown. So that's two of the hydrangeas, and I think I'll have this one go this direction. So I'll carefully lift my paper, slide my leaf under, maybe tuck a little more, gently press. Now I know where it's at. I can press a little harder, especially close to the stem. Because see how thick that stem is. It really sticks out. So I have 3 hydrangea pressed and rubbed, and 3 of the maple leaf. I'm going to try this crazy one, the bee balm one. It kind of has a nice different shape to it. And again, I really don't want to overlap them, so I'm going to try my best to have it. I can see the shape through the paper, because this one is a very dark color. So I'm going to press very lightly to get my edges. Don't want to have too many smudges in my background. And I think it was a good idea to break my crayon in half. See, I've got the point. Now I'm going to have to press a little bit harder. This leaf does not have quite as many deep veins on the back of it, so I won't get quite as interesting of a leaf veining. But I wanted to show you what a different type of a leaf would look like. You didn't have, I mean, if you don't have leaves that have really good veins, what are you going to do? There's nothing you could do but try. I'm going to put maybe just the point here. Oops, it's getting a little bit soft because I've had it out for a little bit. So I'm just doing the tip because I have most of it out of the paper. Let me slide this over so you can see. Most of it's out. And I'm going to press a little bit harder once I know where the edges are. And there's that one. And I'm going to put probably another one down at the bottom here. Move that up and slide it under. Lightly press the edges to get the shape. See where my edges are. And then press a little harder once I know where it's at. Yeah. Okay. That's what we're going to do with the rubbing part of this video. The next step will be adding color to the background. The color to the background is going to be cool colors. So here are my cool colors. I have a couple of colors of green. That's a cool color. This is a blue. This is blue-green. Here's 2 more blues. These are cool colors. And purple. Purple is a cool color. And also black. Today I probably will not use black because it's very overpowering. So I think I'm going to use these 3 colors in types of colors in layers. You're going to find, I'm going to start with my lightest color. Maybe that's too light. I'm going to use this light green. I'm going to, between the leaves are my positive. That's the shape that you're drawing. My negative is the background. So I'm going to do the background space around the leaves, coloring inside. I'm not coloring over top the leaves. Filling that in very lightly because I want to have enough area to add a little bit of purple and blue. I don't want it to be solid. You know how sometimes if you press super hard with your crayon, you can make it so dark it looks like it was a marker. We don't want to do that. We want to have layers of color. Sometimes it's fun to add layers and to see what happens when you add layers. Remember, art is something that you're experimenting with. You're trying new things every time. And it does not have to be a huge success every time. It could be something that you're learning from. I'll do a little more of this color down here. I'll do a little bit here. Alongside that stem. This is the area I will use for my background color. I won't make you watch me color the whole thing. Once I get I show you this, you should understand what I'm asking you to do. So I've done my green. I think I'm going to add a little bit of blue-green. And I'm doing it lightly. I'm not pressing real hard. I'm going to turn it in different directions so that all the lines aren't going in the same direction. This helps to fill in the space. Pressing lightly, going in the opposite direction. See, now there's not quite as many lines going in the same direction. You can flip your paper around while you're coloring. It's hard for Mrs. Wagner to move my paper when I'm trying to videotape, so I won't do that. So you guys can. See, I'm getting a little more depth through there. You got a little bit of blue in there, a little green. Then I'm going to add a little purple, the next color. But I want to do it very lightly so I can see my green. And then the next color, I want to be able to see both the blue and the green. Very lightly. Most everybody knows how to color really lightly, especially second grade. They're good colorers. I really try not to get anything on your leaves. Okay, that's blue and a little bit of green. I'm going to now add a little bit of purple. And again, lightly, because it's getting darker and darker. The purple is much darker than the blue, much darker than the green. So I just want to add a little more color, make it a little bit darker. I didn't press quite hard enough up there. You want to see the purple when you're coloring it. Why go through all of that if you can't see a little bit of color? But don't want to lose all the other colors that I've colored. Very lightly, gently rubbing it across. Some areas you could see I'm getting more lines, a little more dark purple in there. A little bit more in the background. Over here you could see the purple is a little bit darker than just the blue and the green together. Just layers. And this, you're going to take a little bit longer to do this. You can keep looking at it, add a little more darkness if you want in certain spaces, in certain areas. That space needed a little more. Right next to that leaf, right on the edge. I can still see the green, still see the blue. So that'll be your background. See, they're cool colors. Those are your greens, your blues, your purple. These are your cool colors. You can see they're cool, dark colors. Now for the leaves, I'm just going to color a couple of them. I'll just color these. You're going to use your warm colors. I'm going to probably start with my lighter colors, and then I'll add a little more dark to it as I go. Here's a yellow. I'm going to add a little yellow to this. And again, you could just gently rub and color over top of the crayon. Fill the whole thing in with a little bit of yellow, because I'm going to add a little darker, more of an orange then. And then I have like scarlet, I have red orange. There's that one. Here is orange. This might even be yellow orange because it's kind of a light orange. Each leaf does not have to be the same exact color. If you want to have one leaf be a little bit redder, I'll do this red orange. Make it a little darker in this one. Then the next one I'll maybe make a little bit lighter and have it more orange. You've seen all the beautiful trees out there. Every leaf is a totally different color, and they have different combinations in them. The tips might be redder, the body of the leaf, the rest of the leaf may be a little bit more of an orange color. You know, each leaf is totally different and totally unique, just like we are. Here is red violet. Get a little more dark right next to the stem. think I want a little more orange on the edges. I'm gonna darken this up a little bit. So you see I'm using warm colors for my leaves. Here I'm gonna start with an orange, because I think I'm just gonna use orange and reds and red violets on this one. No yellow at all. Because like I said, each leaf out there is different, just like you and I are. And the oranges and reds, they really won't cover over your veins because we've used a dark color. You could have done your veins with a dark, I used like, it's called sepia. It was a dark brown, or you could use black, so that you want to, because you want to be able to see the veins. If you use a light color, you'll lose your veins because the colors that you're going to color it will cover over it. So we don't want that to happen. So make sure when you're doing your rubbings, you use a real dark color. So there's it's already darker than that, and that was just one color. Let's add some red. And because I'm not coloring the whole thing over, I'm getting layers, you still see the orange through it. So it's a bright, bright orangey red. And like I said, you could add a little more darkness in the center of your leaf and then make it lighter on the edges. The tips of your leaves could be a little bit darker. It is up to you. Let's get a little purpley in there. Got red violet. That is a warm color too. It is a purple, but when you, red and blue, if you remember, those red and blue are primary colors. They make the secondary colors. Purple is a secondary color. So if you have more red in your purple, it's a red violet. So it would be a warm color. If you have more blue in it, that would be a blue violet. It would be more of a cool color. So boys and girls, you can see the background. You could add more color to make it a little bit darker so that the background stays further in the background. But it's still cool colors in the background, warm colors on your leaves. Remember, I need to have a photograph of your work so I can give you a grade. I will be reminding parents and students that I have to have a photograph of your projects when they're finished to give you a grade. Also, you have the quiz in the module 7 that you have to show the district that you are participating. Thank you and have a good time doing this. I enjoyed myself.